Hello and welcome back to Gregway Enterprises Week 21. Today we're going to be discussing 3 additional techniques to help you with your sales process. The first is going to be how to develop a habit, and then what not to do after the customer says yes, and complacency and mediocrity. Let's start with how to develop a habit. The first thing I like to do is try to focus on one habit, one thing that we can do a little bit better. Whether it's getting out of bed on time, whether it's going to sleep on time, whether it's arriving to an appointment on time, whether it's studying our client, whether it's making sure that we understand our product and have product knowledge, whether it be anything that we do that's bugging us that we know that we can do better. Let's focus on one facet of it. Let's take one at a time. I like to talk about what we call the 21-day rule. It's very well publicized and a known fact that if we will do something consistently for 21 days, it will become a habit. When I was real young, I read about this and I thought, why would they pick 21 days? Why don't they pick 30 days, 28 days, 45 days, whatever it may be? And I tried it. I tried it for 21 days. And you know what? It worked to perfection. It doesn't matter what the habit may be. It may not be exactly in sales, but it might be sales related. There might be something you're doing in your personal life. It may be something that affects your sales, or it could be as basic as something that you're doing wrong that you feel that you could do better in sales. So let's do a 21-day rule. Let's get out a calendar. Let's write down the day that we're going to start. Let's focus on that, and let's focus only on that, and let's take baby steps. Let's do a little bit at a time, and let's be accountable to ourselves. So if we goof up, hey, let's be accountable and let's start over. Nobody's perfect. So if you make a mistake and if you slip, start over. Even if you're on day 18, start over to day 1. Be a little bit hard on yourself with this and make sure that you take it serious. So in order to do that, let's go back to the beginning if we have to, and let's start that 21-day process over again, and let's focus on that one habit, and let's continue to work on that habit until we master it. All right? Let's be very, very consistent. And in being accountable means that if we goof up, we're going to start over. But when you accomplish it, when you've hit your 21 days, I want you to reward yourself. I want you to reward yourself, whether you go to the mall and you buy a new dress or a new shirt or a new watch or a new car, or you move to a nicer place, or you put more money in the bank, or you take a vacation, whatever it may be, reward yourself. Don't overly reward yourself. You want to stay hungry, but reward yourself. And be very, very consistent. Even after you feel that you've developed the habit, be consistent with that habit. Don't slip. Don't ever slip. Just stay focused on it, and try to associate with the role models that are doing the types of things that you want to do. If you're at work, if you're selling, if you're say you're selling cars, all right? Find that one guy that is the best you've ever seen, and try to emulate some of his habits, but most importantly, associate with that individual, him or her, whoever it may be, whatever you're selling. Associate with the type of people that you want to become. Another very key facet to forming a habit is write the habit down. Okay, write it down. If you don't have it charted on paper, if you don't have it on a calendar, if you don't track how you're doing, then you're just going to meander and fluster and daydream and think about it, but it's not going to be ingrained in your mind. Ingrain it in your mind. Understand the benefits of what this habit will get you. Okay? Think it through. Think it through in advance. Think it through and say, man, If I can just get up earlier, I'm going to have more energy. If I can just go to bed on time, I'm going to have more energy. If I'll just show up on work on time, I'll get that promotion. If I'm just a little bit more focused, a little bit more eye contact, a little bit more friendly, I'm going to connect better with people. If I'm just a little bit more diligent on doing my homework on the product that I'm selling so that I understand it, I'm going to be able to accomplish this and this and this. Don't make any exceptions. Understand the benefits. Visualize what you can do. Visualize what you can do. I remember back in the early 1980s, I was driving a 78 Dodge Diplomat. True story, really was. And the vinyl roof was torn on it, and it had rust and dents. But I knew what I wanted. I knew what my goal was, and that was a brand new, shiny, beautiful, gorgeous Corvette. And I got it. And I'll always remember the day that I sat in that car, and I was so excited because I was able to come from here to here. And that's just the beginning, because once you realize you can do it, and you have confidence in yourself, and you have faith in yourself, and you know how to form a habit, then all of a sudden your mind says, oh my gosh, I'm going to do more, I'm going to do more, I'm going to do more. And then you systematically dissect all of those things in your life, that are bothering you, so that you can accomplish and you can achieve and you can fulfill your goals and you can do the things you want to do. And as you know, in this case, in the world of sales, read and study and think and implement and internalize, do all of these things. And most importantly, never quit. Don't ever quit. Don't ever beat yourself up and say, you know what, I can't do it. Yeah, you can. I promise you. Trust me. If I did it, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. Don't you for a second think that you can't do it. And you make sure that everybody around you understands what you're going to do. And it does not matter whatsoever what anybody says, what anybody does, any of those outside influences. Stay focused. Let's review. Let's focus on one habit, okay? One habit at a time. Let's establish our 21-day rule by getting out a calendar. Let's take baby steps. Let's be accountable for what we're doing. Let's hold ourselves accountable. If we need to start over, we start over. Let's reward ourselves. I mean, let's be realistic. Let's not go out and buy a Corvette the next day if you can't afford it. Give yourself a little bit of time, but reward yourself. All right? Reward yourself. Be consistent on what you're doing. Be consistent on the things which you did that brought you from here to here. Make sure to write it down. Understand the benefits of what that habit will do for you and get for you. And let's not make exceptions. Let's visualize it. Visualize it in your mind, and never, ever, ever quit. That is the most key facet of this whole process. Never quit. And then then we move on to the next one. All right, and we continue to develop these habits and develop our skill set, and we continue to progress and progress and progress. And so that's going to happen by never quitting. All right, let's talk about what not to do after the customer says yes. All right. The number one, let's not forget to say thank you. Let's not forget to reach out your hand and show gratitude. Absolutely, you must show gratitude. I'm going to tell you something that I've seen a lot of people do. Big mistake. Don't get overly excited. Don't act like you're playing a slot machine. All of a sudden you hit the jackpot and you want to jump in their lap. Don't do it. Be grateful, be thankful, be genuine, but don't get so overly excited that they all of a sudden start to question and go, man, I wonder if he's made a sale in the last year. Okay? Let's not forget to review the order. Let's review with them. Let's be very detailed. Let's paper it up. Let's have them sign the agreement. All right? Let's review with them what it is they're buying, and let's not leave too quickly. Oftentimes, salespeople they get that order, or they get that sale, and bam, they're gone. Don't do that. Don't be in. That just shows a lack of being genuine. Let's not forget to review with them the payment details. So if they're not paying right at that moment, they understand what the payment details are. So when you leave, you're not uptight going, oh man, I certainly hope that they remember. And let's not do something which I've seen so many people do, and that's grabbing that check out of their hand when they reach the checkout if they're paying by check. All through the 1980s, the 1990s, the early 2000s, I was on the road doing sales training seminars and putting people in my marketing advertising business, which did incredibly well for them. And they weren't used to making $500 every hour or whatever, every other hour. They weren't used to that kind of money. And I had so many new people that when they would get that first check, and a lot of these folks are pretty broke, and they couldn't even comprehend making $1,000 in a day or $2,000 in a day or $5,000 in a week. They just couldn't comprehend it, and they were so used to when somebody would write out that check and put that check out, they'd grab it out of their hand. And I remember over and over and over and over and over going out with the seminar participants in my vehicle, and they were so excited, and I didn't want to burst their bubble, and I didn't want to be a downer, but I wanted to help and train and mentor them because that's what I was getting paid to do. And as I would spend the week with them in their homes and with the businesses and in training and whatnot, I had a lot of time I'd spend with these people one-on-one. And I would say, please, when someone reaches out a check, you calmly take the check from them. You calmly look them in the eye and say, thank you, sir, or thank you, ma'am. Don't you dare just grab that check out of their hand, because it makes them feel like the only thing that matters is their money. And in a sales presentation and in a sales relationship, what really matters is the person, because these people have needs. You're there to fulfill the need. And if they're going to pay you and trust you, then the least you can do is be courteous and respectful and calm and consistent with them, and not make them feel as though all that matters is their money, because that's just simply not true. That's not what it's all about. These people deserve to be cared for, loved, have appreciation shown to them, and have you stay professional with them at all times. So don't grab that check. Let's review. Let's not forget to say thank you. Let's not get overly excited like a puppy and jump in their lap. Let's make sure to review the order, make sure they sign the agreement. Let's not leave too quickly. Let's spend the time and visit with them. Don't sit there all day, but, take 5-10 minutes and have an opportunity to get to know them and connect with them on a personal level. And let's continue to be friendly with them both before and after the sale. Let's not all of a sudden change our demeanor and be disinterested in them because we got the check, we got the money. That's being phony. We don't be phony. This isn't about being phony. Let's be as genuine as we can possibly be, and let's have that bonding experience. When they hand you the check, calmly take the check and do it with gratitude. And let them know when you'll be following up and getting back with them. Let's talk about it. And I tried to group these two actually into one because they have a lot of similarities. But let's talk about complacency and mediocrity. Let's dissect being complacent. In my opinion, being complacent, and you can kind of read an individual with their nonverbal cues, is they're being very smug. They're just smug. They've done it all, they've seen it all, they've accomplished it all. They're sitting fat and sassy, and they're smug. Well, I'm here to tell you, as we know right now through the coronavirus and everything else, life can change overnight, can it? I don't care how successful you are or you were, or you think you're going to be, or that you're really going to be. Let's not be smug. Let's be humble. Okay? Let's be humble. Being complacent also is having a false sense of security. It's kind of like a radar detector in your car. You're flying down the road at 110 miles an hour in a 70 zone, and all of a sudden there's a cop right behind a tree, and boom, it hits you with the linear laser radar, and boom, you get caught, and you're pulled over, and that's a false sense of security. Let's not have a false sense of security. When we become complacent, we start to think that nothing can go wrong, everything is great. There's just, look at me. Don't ever do that. Always be alert, always be prepared. And I'm not talking 110 miles an hour down the freeway, but in the world of sales, be prepared, be tuned in, be focused, and stay humble. Being complacent too is being overly content. It gets back to being fat and sassy. They lose all desire to really push themselves and to set new goals. You don't want to do that. Let's talk about mediocrity. Would you go to a mediocre dentist? Someone that's average, someone that's ordinary. Would you? Do you want to buy from somebody that is average, that doesn't understand their product, that doesn't really care about you, that spends all their time on their phone playing around? If your wife or your husband or your children were going to have surgery, would you want to go to an ordinary doctor? Or would you seek out the very best that money could buy? You're going to seek out the very best that money can buy. You're not going to settle for average. It's the same thing when people are buying. They want to buy from the very best. They don't have time to play around. They want to cut to it. They want the details. They want someone that's professional, someone that is well-rounded, someone that is in the game, someone that they can have faith in and trust in and belief in, someone that everybody wants to deal with. That's the kind of person that you want to be. If you have mediocrity, you lack ambition. You're predictable. You take shortcuts. You compromise. You procrastinate. And sadly enough, folks that are mediocre, they stop dreaming. Don't stop dreaming. If you're watching this video, I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 or 60 years old, don't stop dreaming. Never, never, never stop dreaming. Don't settle for being ordinary. Don't settle for being average. Don't settle for being run-of-the-mill. Don't settle for being like everybody else. Be that guy that everyone wants to be like. Be that guy that everybody looks up to. Or be that lady that takes the lead and takes charge, that everyone wants to listen to. That's who you want to be. That's who you want to be. So let's review. Complacency and mediocrity. Let's not be smug. Let's not have a false sense of security like a radar detector. Let's not be overly content. Okay? Let's not be fat and sassy and think we've done it all and we're the best that there's ever going to be. Let's continue to be teachable and to learn and to grow and to progress. All right? And not only to help and grow as yourself, but you help others that are around you. Be mediocrity. You don't want to be average. Do you want to be an average salesperson? Do you want to be ordinary? Do you want to just have a normal little paycheck? Or do you want to make 5, 10, 20 grand, 30 grand in a month? It's very, very, very simple if you do and you follow all of the basic standard rules and guidelines and concepts and techniques and strategies. And these are the things I'm trying to lay out in all these videos for you. If you'll take the time to go through them and study them, review them, implement them, oh my gosh, it's huge, huge money. You don't want to be someone that lacks ambition. You don't want to be somebody that's predictable, that takes shortcuts or compromises or procrastinates. I know you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't be here right now watching this video. And more importantly, I know that you're not someone that wants to stop dreaming. Look, I'm here to help you 24/7. If you need me, you can contact me anytime at gregwayenterprises@gmail.com or go to my website at gregwayenterprises.com. We will post a new video every Monday by 5 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I hope you share these and like these. I hope that you do everything on social media to invite your friends and your family and those that are in need and those that have a desire to progress in the world of sales. I love you guys. I care about you. Continue to study. Continue to stay focused. We now have 21 weeks online here. 21 weeks. You can access through YouTube. You can access through Facebook. You can access through my Twitter or through the website. I would invite you to go on to these sites, study them, review them, implement them. If you need help, contact me. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next week. You have a nice day. Goodbye.